Kring, kring, kring. I want to introduce because I made the offer to this space happening. Uh, this is they ask us anything, ask Cornelius, Patricia, or me and Martin, who knows, about the Vision Quest Lab that will take place in August in Germany. And I invited this space with the purpose to make more questions and make more visible this space that will happen. And I'm here, and I invited Cornelius and Patricia to answer questions that will born. I pass the ball of the word to you, Patricia and Cornelius.
Yeah, thank you, Gabriela, for creating this space.
And before we start, I want to just remind everybody that I'm going to leave at 29 minutes after the hour because I have another call.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for making it clear.
Mm-hmm.
So how shall we start? Is there a question or something, or shall we introduce ourselves, or so how do we start?
How do you want to start?
Okay. Okay, then yeah, I start. I'm Patricia. I'm a possibility management trainer for nearly 20 years now, and before I came to possibility management, I did a 1-year training, and a part of this 1-year training was a vision quest. And this vision quest, or this event, has been in my minds ever since then, and has also been part of changing my life so much that I chose to also bring it to the people of the PM world. So I was so much fascinated about this process, or about this initiation, that I really love to hold space for that also for other people. So this is the reason why there is a possibility management lab with a focus on a vision quest, or with a vision quest as the main process of the lab. And
Thank
I asked
you.
Cornelius, are you willing to do it with me? And he said, yes, of course. And yeah, so.
Yeah, and I'm also possibility management trainer since around 2013. I'm a youngster compared to Patricia, still a big fan of possibility management because it changed so much in my life. And where I come from concerning Vision Quest is that since my earliest youth, I love to go alone into the nature. I took my bicycle and rode on a mountain and was sitting there on the weekends in front of the fire, walking through the forest and all that stuff. And it gave me so much. And also going consciously out of the normal life and reducing the everyday impact of thoughts and impressions and be with yourself is really such a good thing to do. So I was very happy when Patricia asked me if I would be the other part of the thing that holds the Vision Quest together. And here we are. And this will be the second one that we provide.
I'm having a question. And what, the question, like, what is making this lab, or how this lab is specific from an, I would say, normal lab, or classical lab?
Mm-hmm. Okay. So so from I say from the organization is very similar to a lab. So we start on, it's 4 days, and we use the processes and the feelings work of possibility management to prepare the vision quest, which will be 24 hours alone in nature. So this will be the big process. And we use also the feelings work and the possibility management tools also to digest and to fulfill everything when the vision quest is over. So the main difference is that we will stay for 24 hours in the woods. We have 1 day preparation, then 24 hours from sunrise to the sunrise of the next day, do the vision quest outside in the woods. And then from, I would say, Saturday noon until Sunday evening, we have the time to complete the processes.
So even if it sounds that it is similar, there's a big difference in the mission of the whole thing, in the purpose, and the purpose and our actions that we do in the lab are dedicated to that purpose of that vision quest. So the preparation, of course, those processes, they are PM processes, but they are in preparation of being out there alone. And then when we come back, the processes and the exercises and the joy that we're going to have is dedicated to the harvest of the whole thing. So it is different. It's pretty different, and you will recognize a lot of things that you might know if you have been in labs.
Yes, and also one thing that is completely different is that we hold space outside, that we also hold space outside. Normally in a lab, we are mostly in a physical space, holding an energetic space within a physical space. And the main thing about a vision quest is really to hold this this space, this energetic space in the outside. And it's a different way of holding space, especially if everybody is somewhere alone, and we trainers, we are in the base camp, we stay in the base camp and hold space for the whole group. Everybody is at their places, they are alone, but the whole group is in the wood, and we, Cornelius and me, we are holding space for outside for the whole group. And this is also something special. It's a different kind of a space where also nature holds space for the whole process together with us.
You might even gain muscles of space holding, because everybody is holding space for themselves too. And it's outside, and it's not as dangerous as in a South American jungle. But, you know, we have the jungle here and all the fantasies, and to keep those spirits at place, that's a good thing to go through.
Cornelius like to mention the jungle in the South America. Dangerous jungles.
Yes.
That will be the next level then.
Yes.
And it's an assumption. I don't know if it is really so dangerous. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's not more than the empire of my mind, but it's compared to, depends on the place, like Amazon, there are more bigger animals. And I remember the first time I was calling to Cornelius, this was my first big fear, like, but Cornelius will be alone in the nature, and what if there's a bear appear out of the blue, and it's like, oh, and I will be alone, and I'm so small, they will just eat me with a bite, and then he was sharing that, not like that. So this was one of my questions back then, and the question that is coming now, it's especially for people that is not went for a lab. I read that there is you need to have a lab before to go to this lab, and if you could speak more, a little bit more about why it's important to have a lab before, a normal lab before, and what does it mean lab to people that just did expand the box, for example, and watching these videos.
Okay. I would recommend everybody who starts with PM or have done an ETB to do a regular lab at the first lab before they do a special lab, like a Vision Quest lab or a women's lab or a man's lab, because it's really, you can, how do I say it? You can notice the differences more if you already have done a normal lab. So and you already have, when you did a normal lab, then you have built matrix already, so that it could be easier for you to be outside in the woods alone. Perhaps you have already in the lab, you have done work with your fear, and then it's easier for you in the Vision Quest lab to stay outside alone in the woods. So this is why. And Cornelius, you just add when you have some
yeah, I mean, it is, you gain, with every lab you gain some muscles, and they help you to hold space and also to hold distinctions. And it's great to go to the women's lab or to the man's lab, and to have the full harvest of that. It's good if you speak the language a little bit better than just coming out of an ETB where you just learned it. So there's, even though it is so practical, there's a lot of theory, and then if you do your first lab, there is a lot of practice, and then you know what these words and these distinctions feel like in the body. And when you then hear them again and you are reminded of hold space, make your bubble, make your grounding cord and all that stuff, it goes like chuck, chuck, chuck. Mm-hmm. It goes much easier, and you can remind yourself if you lose it. And maybe you cannot do that really if you are on your first lab. It's better if you are in a more protected space. So that's why we recommend to have at least one normal lab. Mm-hmm.
I am kind of, because it has its specificity when you are speaking about this, especially about a Vision Quest in form of lab or like laboratorium. And I am, what the question is, what is then in this Vision Quest? Where is it being brought? Like what is like this lab kind of taking, like, or in the question archetypal way, what is this lab is kind of focusing on with the Vision Lab to bring for people who are participating in it?
So I try to understand what you said. It leaves me a lot of interpretation. Mm-hmm. So if I go the wrong direction, just stop me, okay? So it is, I mean, if you can hold space for yourself, and you know, I mean, we do not have to do always big vision quests. Sometimes we have just a question, and if we know inside of ourselves how we can enter that space, that is a big gift. And the somehow bigger frame of a vision quest helps you to get access to that, so that you can use it also for smaller problems, smaller questions. I mean, you will see that you don't need us, but that this is a space where you can go for yourself. So, and sometimes it's just great if you do it in a group and it's a big initiation. And so, yeah, that's what you get out of it. Like you have maybe for some people it's a bigger challenge. Actually, for me, a Vision Quest lab would not have been a bigger challenge than a normal lab, because I'm so much used to be outside. But if you are not so much used to be outside, then this is a great thing to get order in your thoughts, to get clarity in your feelings, to be with yourself, to be with the nature, to be connected to everything. It's somehow magic. So if you ask for the archetypal things, you get connected to your magicness, you get connected to your strength, like your groundedness, your connection to earth, to somehow clarity. Hopefully this will come within the process to you in the way that you can really harvest it. So, and other things might come. I mean, you can find love to this very moment, to this very place. So I don't know if there is a specific archetypal place. Even the warrior is asked to protect the space and to be taking a stand for where you are. So can you add something, Patricia?
Yeah, if I understood the question right. So what we are using the Vision Quest Lab is the power of the ritual, of a ritual. And
is anybody here?
Hello? Yes.
Yes, I'm listening,
Yes.
Patricia. It's because your internet it's frozen a bit, Cornelius.
Okay.
Yeah. So I said that we are using the power of ritual. So the Vision Quest starts with a step over the threshold, with a conscious step over a threshold, and you're going into nature with a question. So when I think about the participants of the last Vision Quest Lab, they were at a certain point in their life where the next thing wanted to come up. There was a mother where the children were at an age where she could leave her role of a mother, for example, or there was one person who there was the next stage of the relationship with her husband, and so on. So they have been at a threshold, and a part of them wanted to die and a new part of them wanted to come into life. And they went into the Vision Quest with this question, and then they stepped over the threshold, and this threshold passage opens up like a magical space in nature. And then it's like becoming part of this magical space, and everything that happens in this 24 hours outside has some answers for your questions. And I can only say from my own from my own experience, this is really something that I cannot experience in everyday life. And it's an extraordinary space, and extraordinary things can happen there, according to your quest, to your question. And yeah, so you see, I'm very passionate about it. I love it. This is the special thing about it. And I remember my own vision quest. So many magical things happened in these 24 hours that I have never experienced before. So I don't know if this is an answer to your question, Martin.
It was open a question, and I feel glad for what you have spoken into a space.
And I get joy of the possibility to hear a bit more, Patricia, from your sharing. Like, you started to share about your vision quest, and that happened spectacular things in these 24 hours. And I want to ask if are going to share a bit more about what was this part that died and this part that born inside of you in this experience.
Yeah. And for me, it was really my question was really of, or the next step was really becoming adult. And when I went over the threshold, and then I went to my place that I chose beforehand, and then I put up everything that we had to put up. Yes, for example, it needed 1 hour, about an hour, and then I was done. And then there was nothing to do anymore. And at this time, I was a doer. I was a performer. I was somebody who always have done something or needed something to do. And then I was there in the woods, and there was nothing to do anymore. And then I fell into my, how do you say, and I became aware of my box behavior, and about this, about the fear of doing nothing. And I was in a swamp somehow for an hour or so, and I cried and everything, and this fear was there of doing nothing. And then I decided to talk to the tree near to me, and then I stepped on a tree that was cut. I stood on a tree that was cut, and then I spread my arms, and I had the image of having the roots into the earth, from my feet into the earth, and having the leaves and I closed my eyes and had the leaves in the sky, and I imagined being a tree with my eyes closed. And then I heard steps, swift steps coming towards me, and then I thought perhaps it's another participant who needed something. And then I opened my eyes, and then 1 meter next to me, a female deer was standing, looking into my eyes. I was standing like this, and we looked into each other's eyes, and I was really stunned. And then after half a minute or so, she moved on. And this was such a beautiful moment, that all the thoughts that I had before, that I chose the wrong place and that I don't have to do anything, and so was gone. And I started to be with myself and enjoyed it really. And then I started to sing, and it was really a magical moment. And there were, during the 24 hours, there were different magical moments like that. But the one thing that was really made me goosebump was that in the preparation, I chose my female ancestors to Whitman, Cornelius Whitman, Yeah, you dedicate your vision quest to somebody or to something. And I chose to dedicate my vision quest to the female ancestors before me who didn't have so many possibilities like I have. And then when I came back, there was this book about totem animals, and I looked at what deer is, and there was written, deer is the power of the ancestors of the same gender. And it was really so it's really going over the threshold opens up and
Dedicate.
yeah, a space where magic can happen and where everything that happens has something to do with your quest, with your question. And it's about to read this space, or to interpret the messages of this space in regard to your question. Welcome back, Cornelius.
Thank you. I'm so sad that I didn't hear the whole story, but I will see it on the recording then. And now will be the time that I say goodbye.
Already?
And, well, it's 1 minute before.
I thought you have 1 hour.
No, 30 minutes is what I have.
Ah, okay.
Oh, no, you're right. You're right. It was in my memory like that, but we changed the time.
Yes, we changed the time because I messed up the time, and
great,
then we.
Great. Okay, very good. I'm very happy.
Thank you, Patricia, for sharing your experience.
So there are animals. Also, the participants of the last time, they met animals, but animals like deer or boars or something like that, or a hase,
a rabbit
or something like that.
I met a bug.
Yes.
I already saw a picture from you of a bug here.
Yes.
In the beard. So, what other questions are there?
No question now for me. Oh.
Yeah, perhaps some things are also interesting because one thing during the 24 hours you are supposed to not eat, to fast, and to not sleep. And there are certain exercises you do during the 24 hours, and you stay awake during the night, going through the different directions of a medicine wheel, which have different Bedeutungen, meanings, yes. So this is also interesting to know. And there's also one thing that you have to do beforehand. You're preparing yourself before you come to the lab. You're preparing yourself with a so-called medicine walk. So you also you already train it a little bit to be alone outside in nature with a purpose and with this purposeful space that you create by stepping over the threshold. It's from sunrise to sundown that you are in nature, and with certain questions also. So this is the preparation, so that it's not the first time that you do it, but you have already done it, but not during the night, but during the day. Yeah, so it's a little bit of a training beforehand.
It's coming a question now regarding this training that is about the question, like, because it's about making question. It's a lab about making question, and I've been discovering how I block the questions to come up inside of me, and I have the question if there is a training space to question to dive into this question thing or unblock this ability, because there is this map of three superpowers that we can choose, declare, and ask. And I sense inside of myself from the school that the superpower of ask get like some boxified, was in the box, put in the box. And I want to ask if there's spaces in this preparing process also to navigate in that territory.
Yes. So the first day is for preparing, and if you're not sure what your question is, or with which purpose you want to go to the to your vision quest, you want to do your vision quest, then we can help you unblock it and come out with your next question. But this is part of the preparation.
And to understand, so this being from sunrise to sunset in nature is kind of before the lab. It's not yet part of the lab, but it's like before. And then the questioning, working on the question, is part of the lab.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you come to the lab and your question is not yet clear, then we will help you at the first day. We will help you to find your question, your next question. So the question that brings you to your next step.
And it's also nothing that you need to work on and take the screwdriver and fix yourself so that the right question is gonna come, but it's much more to fall in a kind of a confident trust and to relax into that and be a kind of confident like a child, that there will be presence waiting for you. Is you don't expect something like concrete, but you know that there is something for you, and this relaxation can also help you to find your question. Like it's not such a thing, you know. It's not about that.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a question, Martin. Are you considering to come to be part of it?
Yes.
Okay.
A simple question to answer.
I have another one for you.
Yes or no question.
What else do you need to have a clear yes or a clear no to it, so that this time that you took today, that it helped you in that process to decide to come or not to come?
Okay, I will make it more round. So what makes me attract it is of experiencing this outside way of holding space, and also this kind of whole process being outside for initiation work. And what is what I have a question mark, it's I came to this year and it started to evolve, and there was like this sensation, I don't yes, like I don't have the impulses to really go into a labs. It was happening through just kind of meeting with few people, speaking about something, and then it was like, okay, this would be interesting for me. So what I need, or what to have a clarity, even to dive. I'm starting to noticing, for example, a money process for me. I like when I check what are my fears inside me. I'm checking money, and then okay, but this is not yet about the money. This is kind of, do I really want to experience it? And I'm asking what is if there would not be a money problem. Fuck yes, I would have a yes. Okay.
Nice to see you laughing.
and and yeah, it's kind of yeah, so it seems that there is this question in me, or this kind of process, or and I think when I start to speak about the money, it's also this organizing my time somehow, that or like where I put energy, because I decide to put energy here. So it seems that there I'm like partly hooked on this, like what will be happening if you say yes. You need to like going through this bush and like finding what is there, like landing and being there. I mean, like in my inner world, like the bush of my inner world, what is the fear? Like what is that? What is really going on there? And then it's like kind of putting out, and yeah, it's actually that's what I need, it seems, to go through this bush. And I have not experienced you two as a space holders. I know Cornelius, I experienced him online, and one thing is physical, and there is also one thing I'm having yes to experience you as a space holders of laboratory, or being with your space holders in a physical space.
I would recommend you to to ask that what created you, if this lab is good for you, if it is necessary, if that is something that you should do. And if you get an answer and the answer would be yes, then tell them, I'm willing to do it. I will spend the time. I will give everything so that I get the most out of it. So what can I do so that we get that thing paid? So it's no more only your problem, but it's also their problem who made you. And really, if it's good for you, then let them figure something out, and be curious what is possible, but keep yourself open to hear something, to see something, to get ideas. Make a deal with them, or with it, or whatever. I don't care. Because either it is necessary and good, or is not necessary. So it's simple.
I feel a joy about putting it on the table this way, because then it's not about me alone. There is a much more in a play. when you are saying in this way of like making deal or asking the, I don't know, you call it the one who created me, or the one who, you know, gives me a job, or the one who runs this life through me. Yeah. Thank you
What
for
would
that.
be most fun for them, you know? Would it be more fun with that lab and what you can do after that? Or would it be more fun if you put your resources to somewhere else and they cannot live your life because they are spirit? So they need you. So let them do their job.
And Martin, if you listened to me, you see that everything that I spend money for, afterwards I make money with. Because I'm so, yeah, for example, the Vision Quest, it was so, yeah, great to experience that I wanted to bring it to other people also. And so this could also be a way.
Thank you.
Gabriela, did you get any questions from anybody from your circle that you should ask or something, or that they asked you that you could not answer?
There was one about the space. Where would be the space that happening, like the location, and the woman was proposing to do in a place if there's no location fixed yet, and there was the question I did to Patricia. So it was this question I took just.
Was more a question of organization.
Logistical one.
So the actual place where we do it right now is the first one we did at Cornelius' former home. And this one will be a little bit north of Berlin. It's called Seegut Blaue Blume. Sea territory blue flower in English. And it will be in English and German, not only because of you, Gabriela, and perhaps you, Martin, when you come, but there are also people coming from Portugal and German people. So we will do it in English and German.
And
it will be international.
And will you do in German and translate it to English, or would be the opposite side?
When the people speak in German, the German people will speak in German and we will translate it into English, and the English people or the international people will speak in English, and then so
okay,
we will do it.
Yeah,
we will see.
as is necessary.
Yeah.
Okay. From here, I'm feeling complete. I'm feeling slowly closing. And I want to check if there is any question more from any side, anyone, or to these forces that made us also.
No question from my part.
Yeah, not from my part either.
No question from me.
Also, either for me. I declare this space closed.
Yeah.
Thank you for organizing that, Gabriela.
Yeah.
And Martin, thank you for coming.
Yes. And I would really love to see you too in August.
Yeah.
and everyone
you.
other out there who is still interested.
Yes, I will post that on YouTube, and then I share the link in the village.
Cool.
See you in another spaces.
Okay.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.